All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell, and I just got called a coon. Yeah, so I got people that think I'm too woke or that I'm a coon, or so I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start calling myself a moderate. You know, people, they get real upset when they can't label you. That's what it is. You know, my dad used to tell me that all the time. So, you know, people really get upset if they can't put a label on you, and or if they, you know, if they don't know exactly. But then you got to look at it like this, and I look at it from the perspective of, look, every situation is different, and every situation has to be handled different. You can't use the same strategy in every situation, and some things you agree with, and some things you don't, and the things you don't agree with, then you have to let them go, right? And the things that you do agree with, then you push forward with them, and you just, you know, you keep you keep to your guns, you stick to your guns. So anyway, so I was just called a coon because I'm pushing voting, all right? And so and then this was like coming from conscious people saying that because I'm pushing voting, I'm crazy. But here's the thing, when I went to law school, they teach you in these different methods. They teach you different methods of how to be a lawyer. And even a lot of lawyers don't realize that they're like teaching you certain ways, and that the ways actually came from what? They came from Africa. They were stolen by the Europeans, by the Greeks and the Romans. The Greeks and the Romans stole the stuff and put different names to it, but all of it came from Alkebulan, came from Africa, Alkebulan. All right? So don't get the game twisted. It's our game. And that's what I keep trying to tell everybody. Look, stop believing the hype. All right, stop believing the hype about everything is certain. Just like when I tell y'all, it's like, look, stop believing that the Bible, you know, has all of the answers and has all of this, that, and the other thing, because it doesn't. And like I said, by its own admission, it is 5,000 to 6,000 years old, as compared to stuff that came from Africa that is over 50,000 years old, which is the exact same stuff, but they just stole it and put their name on it. All right, so I don't fall for that stuff no more. I'm like pretty much done with that. All right. And I've studied it all. You know, people be coming on there telling me this, that, the other thing. You know, a person that I worked in the church. I did all that kind of stuff. I worked for some of the highest bishops in some of y'all's churches that y'all don't even realize. I programmed, you know, over 40 gospel radio stations and this, that, the other thing. So I listened to like literally hundreds of sermons, you know, and so, you know, don't come at me with stupid stuff. If you're going to come at me, then come at me with some stuff that's going to matter, right? Or some stuff that's going to change my mind. And I'm open. And I kept asking this dude, I was like, okay, so what's your plan? Because here's my plan. The one thing, whether you believe that President Obama did anything or not for black people, all right, the one thing that he did for black people was that he showed us that a black person could be president. Because, of course, they buried the fact that John Hanson was the first black president. In fact, was the first president, period. But he was a Moor. So they basically disintegrated his history. They got it off of everything. All right. And like I said, the only place that is still left is in that picture of the Constitutional Convention where John Hanson is sitting there teaching the Europeans, the Caucasians, whatever you want to call them, he's sitting there teaching them our form of government. And like I said, in law school, once I realized what it was, all right, it didn't dawn on me right away. It took me a few years, but then I was like, you know, because I'm an inquisitive person, and I wanted to know, well, what does this mean? What is this about? What is, you know, why is this like this? And all that kind of stuff, right? Well, once you realize, you know, and I remember my sister used to always say, well, and she would be like, you know, she would be joking me. She'd be like, well, why didn't you just say Farfignugan and your client would have walked away free? Because a lot of it, that's what it is. It's just words, it's rhetoric, it's stuff that you just say. And if you say it the correct way, then your client walks away scot-free. That's how come these white boys get off. Or that's how come they never go to court. Or that's how come they, you know, they get a whole floor at Rikers Island to themselves. It's still about money and power. And the other thing is, look, money and political power go hand in hand. Why do you think corporations spend billions of dollars just to go in and basically market Congress people? That's what lobbying is. They're marketing their products, goods, and services, and their philosophies and ideas and everything. Why do you think the gun people have such a big lobby? Because they got money. So they take their money and they spend it trying to convince politicians to do what they want so that they can continue to make money. The same thing with rich people. And I've been saying this to y'all ad nauseum. I've been trying to get y'all to understand. That is why Trump is president. Trump is not president because they think he's a great governor of the people and he's all for the people. He's in there because he got them rich people of 30%. If you are a billionaire and somebody tells you you have to pay 30% less taxes on all of the money that you bring in, do you know how much money that is? That's a tremendous amount of money. And to tell all the corporations in the country that, look, you don't have to pay this tax, then now all of a sudden, and so now they've come up, and I'm telling you, they've come up with this whole coronavirus thing, and the stock market is crashing. But the stock market ain't crashing because of the coronavirus. The stock market is crashing is because that economics dictates. And give me somebody on here who knows economics or knows accounting or knows things like that. And guess what? If you take 30% from all of the corporations that were paying 30% into the system and you take it all away, guess what? That's why the deficit is $22 trillion. And then you throw on top of that a virus and a president who can't respond to the virus. Guess what happens? Come on, y'all. Wake up and grow up. And I'm trying to tell people, look, so voting is imperative. It's imperative because if we don't vote, guess what? We have no right to anything. And the other thing is everybody denying Africa. Well, guess what? Africa is the only sovereign indigenous land that we have, where black people are still in control of it. All right. So when you run around here, if you don't have a plan that includes land, then, or buying land or appropriating land somehow, some way, say some shape or some form, you don't have a government. You're not because what I tell people, that's why I always, and I'm not mad at people that talk about this Hebrew Israelite stuff, but my thing is, okay, so where's the land of Hebrew? So if we are all Hebrew Israelites, how come we can't go back to Hebrew Israelite land? Because it don't exist. It never existed. It was something that was put together by Caucasians in order to create a history for themselves that they didn't have. All right, so please, y'all, stop it. Really, stop it. It's just like, because it's that has no power. There's no power in that. Not for living people, and and everybody, and that's the whole thing behind the system. Everybody, all the indigenous people who running around chasing after religion, you don't realize, but the only thing you're chasing after is saying, look, there's going to be something after I leave this world, after I die. And then everybody else is getting theirs while they still here. Because in temples, in Masonic temples, there are gods. And they are praying to those gods. And those gods used to be our gods. Haru, Tahuti, all of those gods, guess what? All of those gods, go and pull up all the list of all of the command, and I really shouldn't use the word God because they're not really gods. What they are is they are the nature of you. They're your nature. So they're using the nature that our ancestors developed and created in order to build. They have taken our position as the master builders of the earth. That's plain and simple. I can't put it no more plainer than that. All right, but y'all still running around here talking about religion and stuff like that. And being split up. Do you know, like, there's like 2,600 religions? It's like, so that religion is not the way. But we can all get together. Look, no matter what, just like, look at it. Okay, we'll do something that everybody can relate to. Let's do a football team, right? And there's all these different people on the football team, but if they all pull together and they don't go for the same goal and everything, they can win, right? Even though everybody's not the same race, everybody's not the same religion, everybody's not the same this, the same that. But guess what? If everybody pulls together for the same common goal, which is what? Which is corporate governance, which is created by who? The Kemetic and the Cushites, the Kemites and the Cushites. All right, corporate governance. That's why I always talk about we got like hundreds of corporations on the New York Stock Exchange, hundreds of corporations on the NASDAQ, hundreds of corporations. And guess how many black run corporations we have? Probably 2, and maybe none. Because really, most of those, probably in those 2, if you go and you look at the makeup, the corporate makeup of those organizations, most of them have either Jewish or other white folks in some capacity inside of that corporation. So what is that saying? That's saying that we didn't learn nothing from our ancestors. That's saying that they learned everything from our ancestors and put it to good use. And now all we do is sit around and complain and signify, and we mad at one another and this, that, and the other thing. And I ain't mad at nobody, but one thing is I ain't no coon, that's for sure. Because if I was a coon, I could have sold folks out a long time ago knowing all the stuff that I know. I could have just sold out and been like, hey, let's do it. Let's make money. Forget this religious stuff. I'm just gonna go in for the cash. Cause look, religion, if you go, look, you can start a church. I was offered by 2 different congregations to start a church. They told me I could have, well, except for one. There was one church that I wanted, but they told me I couldn't have that one because somebody else was already making a ton of money there. But I'm just telling you, I could have went to any church I wanted to, and I could have had a church, and I could have stole money from black people all day long ad nauseum. I could be pushing a Bentley or a Rolls Royce like the rest of them. Look, if whoever lives in Atlanta, go down to Buckhead, go down to the Rolls Royce dealership in Buckhead and see who's on the wall. Look and see who's on the wall at the Rolls Royce dealership in Buckhead. All of the preachers, all of the black preachers, all of the black preachers, they on the wall down there in the Buckhead Rolls Royce dealership. Trust and believe that. I was just in there driving the pastor's car back after he picked up his Rolls Royce. So I'm just telling y'all, wake up. I feel like Spike Lee now. Wake up. Lawrence Fishburne, it's like, y'all, come on. This stuff is like from the pits of hell, like certain people would say. But you got to realize, if you don't vote and you don't have any political power, your economic power don't mean nothing. Look, we got $500 billion in economic power. We spend $500 billion. And what do we have? And what do we get for our $500 billion? We still getting dog. And look, and what happens as soon as an enlightened corporation head figures out that they need our dollars, like a Papa John's. When Papa John's realized that, hey, if black people don't eat Papa John's pizza, we're dead. So what? They go and get Shaq, right? Or how about Starbucks? When them 2 guys walked into the Starbucks in Philadelphia and they treated them adversely, and then all of a sudden, what? Starbucks had a diversity. They closed down Starbucks for a day. You know how much money that is? They closed down Starbucks for a day to have diversity training. Wake up. I'm just telling y'all, without you being the consumers, look, they understand that black people are the consumers because we have the majority. Y'all don't think that you got Bernie Sanders out there trying to get Public Enemy and why can't I never remember that dude's name when I'm doing a video? But the dude that was dancing to back that thing up, you don't think he backing that thing up because he want white votes, do you? I mean, so start realizing what your power is. You don't realize it. You have no clue, and you don't know what your political power is. And once again, that's why I said we elected Obama and we didn't elect Hillary. If we would have voted, Hillary would be president right now. We didn't vote. And it's proven. The numbers prove it out. We can't be ignorant of facts. We can believe all we want. But facts are facts. Numbers hold out numbers. We elected Obama twice. And the thing that Obama should have showed us was that if we get somebody to follow an agenda that we are approving and that we are behind and that we back, then we can elect whoever we want. But we got to realize that we can do it and stop talking about what the white man is doing and forget the white man. That ain't none of my concern. That's his concern. You know, my concern is black folks. There you have it. Okay, so wake up, y'all, please, and understand that if you vote, you know, vote these people out. Vote the people that didn't vote for the anti-lynching law. Vote them out.